Hey, welcome back to English Podcast for You. I'm Leo.
And I'm Lily. If you're listening to this late at night, under a cozy blanket, or maybe taking a quiet walk, we are so glad you're here with us today.
Yeah, really, thank you. You know, late nights always feel a bit different, don't they? The world outside gets quiet, the noise of the day kind of disappears, and suddenly your mind starts wandering to bigger questions.
Oh, absolutely. Like at 2 a.m. when you should be sleeping, but instead you're staring at the ceiling thinking, why am I here? What am I actually doing with my life?
Exactly, that classic late-night experience. So tonight, we're leaning right into that feeling. We're diving into some deep, philosophical late-night prompts and asking the big question, what is the meaning of life?
It's a huge topic, but don't worry if your English isn't perfect. Today's conversation is just two friends talking about real life. Just listen for meaning. Let the words flow naturally. And we'll also look at 5 really special words today: existential, perspective, destiny, path, and fulfillment.
Lily, can I ask you something personal to start us off?
Sure, go for it. Though, should I be nervous?
No, not at all. Just when was the last time you had one of those real existential moments? You know, when you suddenly step back and feel a little overwhelmed by just existing.
Honestly, a couple of weeks ago, I was sitting on my balcony late at night, looking up at the stars, and it just hit me. The universe is so vast, so endless, and here I am worrying about a small mistake I made at work or what to eat for dinner.
I know that exact feeling. That's what we call an existential question or thought, right? When you pause and question your own existence or the deeper meaning behind everything we do.
Yes, exactly. And in that moment, it felt a little bit scary, but also weirdly comforting. Like maybe my tiny problems aren't as heavy as I make them out to be.
That's so true. But don't you think sometimes those thoughts can make people feel lost? Like, if the world is so big, does what I do even matter?
Yeah, it's easy to slip into that. But I think it all comes down to perspective.
Ah, perspective. That is such a powerful word.
Right? Because perspective is simply the way you see things, your viewpoint. From one perspective, being small makes you feel unimportant. But from another perspective, it means you have the freedom to create your own meaning. You don't have to carry the weight of the whole world, just your own little piece of it.
That leads me right into another prompt I was reading earlier. Do you believe we each have a specific destiny? Or are we just wandering around making things up as we go?
Ooh, destiny? That's a classic late-night debate. When people talk about destiny, they usually mean a fixed fate, something that is already written for you, like it was meant to happen no matter what.
Right, like meeting a certain person or finding a specific career. Growing up, I used to think there was a master plan, but as I've gotten older and messier, I'm not so sure.
Right, because if everything is destiny, then do our choices even count? If I decide to stay in bed all day and eat ice cream, was that my destiny too?
Well, hopefully not every Tuesday, but seriously though, I think believing in a hard destiny can sometimes take away your personal power. It makes you feel like you're just sitting in the passenger seat of your own life.
I agree. I think I prefer the idea of a path rather than a fixed destiny.
A path. Tell me more about how you see that.
Well, a path is the road you walk on, step by step. It isn't completely drawn out for you in advance. You choose which turns to take, which doors to open, and sometimes you even take a wrong turn and get lost in the woods. But it's your path, Every choice shapes the direction you go next.
That's beautiful, Lily. So, destiny implies the end point is already decided, but a path focus is all about the journey and the choices you make today.
So, if we are creating our own path, what are we actually looking for along the way? Is it success? Money? Happiness?
You know, for a long time, I thought success meant having an impressive title or achieving big goals. But lately, late night, when I really reflect on it, those things feel kind of empty on their own. The word I keep coming back to is fulfillment.
Fulfillment. That's such a deep word. For our listeners, fulfillment is that quiet feeling of deep satisfaction when your life feels meaningful and complete from the inside out.
Yes, exactly. Happiness comes and goes like a sunny day. You can feel happy eating a good meal or watching a funny video, but fulfillment stays even when things are difficult. It comes from living according to your values, caring for people, and growing as a person.
Have you ever felt totally successful on the outside, but lacking fulfillment on the inside?
Honestly, I have. A few years ago, I was working non-stop, hitting all my targets, getting compliments from everyone. On paper, I was doing great, but every night I'd come home, sit in the dark, and feel this strange, heavy emptiness. I realized I was walking on someone else's path, not my own.
Wow, thank you for sharing that, Leo. That takes a lot of courage to admit. It's scary when you realize you're climbing a ladder, but it's leaning against the wrong wall.
Exactly. A very tall, very exhausting ladder. But changing direction, changing my perspective, was the best decision I ever made.
So, coming back to our main late night question, what is the meaning of life? Do you think there's one big answer or lots of tiny ones?
I used to look for one giant cosmic answer, but now I think the meaning of life is hidden in really tiny, ordinary moments, like laughing so hard with a friend that your stomach hurts, or holding a warm cup of tea on a rainy morning, or helping someone without expecting anything in return.
Oh, I love that. It's not about finding a secret code to the universe. It's about being fully present, right here, right now.
Exactly. Experiencing life with an open heart. That's where fulfillment actually lives. It makes you think about how easily we ignore those small moments just because we're so focused on the future.
Right. We spend so much time planning or worrying about tomorrow that today just slides right past us without us noticing.
And that brings up another thought. When we look at our own path, how much of it is shaped by fear versus what we actually want?
That's a heavy question because fear is so quiet. It doesn't always scream at you. Sometimes it just whispers, "Stay safe. Don't try something new. Don't take that risk."
Exactly. It convinces you that playing it safe is the only option, but then, years later, you look back and wonder what could have been.
That kind of regret is probably the scariest part of an existential realization, realizing that you let fear choose your direction instead of your own heart.
Yeah, but the good news is, as long as you're breathing, your path isn't set in stone. You can change your perspective tonight, make a different choice tomorrow, and start moving towards real fulfillment right now.
That is so comforting to hear, Leo, because sometimes when people get older, they feel like it's too late. Like, I've already spent 10 years doing this job, or I've already spent so much energy on this direction, I can't turn back now.
There's actually a term in economics, right? The sunk cost fallacy. When you keep going down a bad path just because you've already spent a lot of time on it.
Leave it to you to bring economics into a late-night philosophical chat. But you're totally right. It's like continuing to watch a terrible movie at 1 a.m. just because you already watched the first hour.
Well, we've all been there, sitting there thinking it has to get better, while knowing in your heart it won't.
Exactly. But changing your perspective means having the courage to say, okay, that part of my life was a lesson, but it doesn't have to be my whole story.
Yeah, and taking that step, even a tiny step, gives you back your power. You stop waiting for destiny to hand you a better life, and you start building it yourself.
But, Leo, what about the uncertainty? Because when you step off the old road, the new one is completely foggy. You don't know where it leads.
Oh, the uncertainty is terrifying. I think that's the main reason people stay stuck even when they're unhappy. Humans hate not knowing what comes next.
We really do. We'd rather be comfortably unhappy than uncomfortably unsure.
That is such a sharp observation, Lily. Comfortably unhappy. It's safe, it's predictable, but it rarely leads to genuine fulfillment.
So, how do you personally deal with that fear of the unknown? When you changed your own direction a few years ago, how did you handle that foggy feeling?
Honestly, I had to learn to shrink my time frame. When I looked at the next 5 years, I panicked. But when I looked at just today, or just this hour, it felt manageable.
Shrinking your time frame. I like that.
Yeah, I tell myself, I don't need to figure out my entire future tonight. I just need to make one good decision today. If you stack enough of those good decisions together, the fog slowly clears.
It's like walking in the dark with a tiny flashlight. You can only see 2 feet ahead of you, but 2 feet is enough to take the next step.
Exactly. You don't need to see the whole mountain, just the step right in front of your shoe.
That's such a grounded way to look at it. It takes away that massive existential weight.
Yeah, because nobody can carry a 5-year plan on their back at 2 in the morning. It's way too heavy.
Very true. Late night thoughts are great for deep questions, but terrible for complex logistics.
So true. You know, another prompt I wanted to bring up tonight is the idea of connection. Do you think our search for fulfillment is something we have to do alone, or is it deeply tied to other people?
Oh, I don't think we can find real meaning completely on our own. We like to think of ourselves as independent, but humans are fundamentally wired for connection.
We spend so much time in our own heads, especially at night, analyzing our feelings, overthinking our mistakes. But sometimes the best cure for an existential crisis is simply talking to a friend.
Like we're doing right now.
Exactly like this. Sharing the weight of the questions makes them feel less scary. You realize you're not the only one lying awake wondering if you're doing this whole life thing right.
Right? Everyone is basically looking at the exact same dark ceiling, asking the exact same questions in different rooms all across the world.
That's a beautiful thought. It means we're never really as isolated as we feel. Our paths might look different from the outside, but underneath, we're all navigating the same human experience.
And maybe, just maybe, that shared experience is a big part of the answer we're looking for. Learning how to listen, how to support each other, and how to share our true selves without fear.
Being vulnerable. That's another thing that takes immense courage, but brings so much depth to your life.
Because if you constantly hide behind a mask, even if people love you, they're loving the mask, not you.
Wow, yeah, and that leaves you feeling completely unseen, which brings us right back to that inner emptiness we were talking about earlier.
So, finding true fulfillment isn't just about pursuing goals. It's also about letting people see who you really are, messiness and all.
Absolutely. Stripping away the pressure to look perfect and allowing yourself to just be.
Just existing without needing to prove your worth every single minute.
That right there, that might be the sweetest kind of freedom.
Freedom, yeah. When you finally stop trying to perform for everyone else and start living for yourself, the air feels different.
It really does. It's like putting down a heavy backpack you didn't even realize you were carrying.
But, Leo, how do you keep hold of that feeling when the morning comes? Because late at night, in the quiet, it's easy to feel wise and relaxed. But then tomorrow morning, your alarm goes off, your inbox fills up, and life gets chaotic again.
Oh, the morning reality check. It's brutal, isn't it? At 2 a.m., you have all the answers to the universe, and by 8 a.m., you're annoyed because someone took the last clean mug.
Exactly. The existential piece disappears so fast.
I think the trick isn't trying to stay in this deep philosophical state all day. That would be exhausting. It's just holding on to a tiny piece of it, a quiet shift of perspective you keep in your back pocket.
A quiet shift, like a small reminder.
Yeah, when stress hits during the day, you just take one slow breath and remind yourself, this busy moment is just a small part of my path. It doesn't define my whole life.
That helps put things back into balance. You don't have to control everything. You just have to stay grounded in your own choices.
Exactly. You can't control the traffic, or difficult news, or how other people react, but you can always control your own heart and how you choose to respond.
You know, talking through all of this tonight, it's made me feel a lot lighter.
Me too, Lily. That's the magic of these late-night debates. They don't always give you a neat, perfect answer to the meaning of life, but they help you ask better questions.
And maybe asking the questions is the real point. Searching for fulfillment, building your own destiny step by step, and sharing the journey with people you care about.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Looking at the clock, I think the night is starting to catch up with us.
Yeah, my eyes are definitely getting heavy now, but this was such a special conversation.
It really was. To everyone listening out there, wherever you are in the world, we hope this conversation brought a little bit of warmth and calm to your night.
Remember to be gentle with yourself. Take life one step at a time and trust your own journey.
Thank you for spending your evening with us here on English Podcast for You. Take care of your English and take care of your heart.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.